So today it's day 100. After 100 days of shooting, it all tends to be a little bit of a blur. I'm very tired. It feels like 100 days of shooting. A lot of people have asked if they could see what a typical day in the life of me is like. It's kind of typical. I mean, every day is different. For instance, it's 8:42 in the morning, and we don't start shooting till 1 o'clock in the afternoon, because at the moment we're on half day, half nights. But I'm rushing to editorial right now to sit down with Jamie, our editor, to actually cut the animatic I'm going to be shooting tonight.
Peter's schedule is a mighty beast of a thing, and we schedule as best we can, and things tend to get pushed, but we do get them done.
So I'm late. I would have been on time, but these video guys was here and they were totally disrupted me.
What's the plan?
The plan is to look at the previs for the scene with Anne and Kong. This is a scene where Kong, instead of killing Anne, he has a curiosity about her, and she senses that that curiosity is the one thing that may keep her alive. So we've got till 10:30 to cut this.
Plenty of time.
Yeah. So it's 10:41 now, and we didn't get our previs cut. Next week, Universal are flying 200 exhibitors and distributors down to New Zealand, and we're going to present them with the first footage of King Kong. Some visual effects shots are finished. A lot of them are unfinished, so I'm going to shoot a little introduction to try to explain to people that are going to see this reel that, you know, they're going to be looking at unfinished shots.
Stand by. And camera set.
It's very important to me, obviously, as a director, that you understand that King Kong, we are still filming it. The film's coming out in December, and believe me, there's a huge amount of work still to be done. But nonetheless, we're hoping that this reel is going to give you a flavour and the tone of the film that we're making.
Great.
Okay. I think that was all right.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm just going to go to Q stage, talk to second unit, make sure that they know what they're doing today and the vaudeville routine. The real day begins right now. Okay, so what can we do to help you guys?
Well, actually, I just wanted to go over,
Well, the basic thing is to just capture the essence of the routine, shoot it very simply. There's nothing fancy about the camera work. Shoot 2 cameras so you can get a wide and a tight. Okay? Good. All right, guys. You guys, just call me if you have any problems or any concerns or questions at all. Thanks, mate.
Clear underneath this, please.
All right, so about to shoot our first shot of the day. It's 2 o'clock, an hour after we started today. So the first thing that we're doing is a shot of Naomi's stunt double, Min, being thrown onto the ground. Right, we're shooting first shot, slate. Boom, we're on our way.
And action!
And cut.
Cut!
See, it's that quick. But I think we should move on. I mean, is Naomi ready to go?
She just hasn't got her wig on. I have to put her wig on, but apart from that, she's ready.
So remember, this begins after you run, and you run over his leg, over his foot, and trip over, and then he confronts you, and that's as far as I got. And I think we're ready to shoot.
We're miking Pete so that he can be broadcast onto set.
I've got so many mics today, I don't know what to do. I just have to remember to turn them all off when I go to the toilet.
That's better. Thank you. Here we go, please. Shooting. And roll sound.
And rolling.
Play back. And action.
Throws her down. She lands. He's suspicious. She looks dead. And he prods. Another prod. He's not sure. He sniffs. Sniffing. One last big prod. And cut. Okay, good. That was good. Let's just try one more for luck.
That's good. We'll do another, please.
Good. Should we try one more for luck? And that was good, Naomi. We'll just try one more for luck. Once more, please. Once more, just for luck. This is Victoria. You've met Victoria before. She's our script supervisor.
Hi.
And she had a whole video diary about you, and you haven't had one piece of fan mail yet.
One, not one.
I'll write to you now.
Where are the girls of the world that would have just, like, gone crazy for you, Anne?
Even if it was one guy, at least it'd be something.
Oh, I see. Okay. Have a look at the boxing ladies. Okay. The boxing ladies are going for it.
Ooh, it's a knockout.
One of them got one clean in the jaw, did they?
Yeah.
And then just get them to beat the hell out of each other. But give it more muscle. Just like, we want bleeding noses. It's 6:10. I've been going since 8:30, feeling a little bit tired, but have to keep on going till midnight. What I have to do is find time to run back into the cutting room and finish cutting the animatic that I never finished. Okay, gang, previs time. Let's try and trim up the first few shots in this sequence. Oh, yeah. No time for pleasure whatsoever.
So we should give that rotation to them so they know that's what's sort of happening. What do you reckon, Pete?
So it's this shot here. You're on the ground, you back away, and then you accidentally just stumble. And that doesn't have to be a big fall backwards. That could just be a stumble and a kind of a half fall. Right. Because it's just enough to engage him.
Here we go, please. Shooting, thank you. And playback. And action.
You're terrified you're going to die. His rage is building. He's going to kill you. He's getting angrier. He's going to kill you. Here he comes, and cut. Yep, that's good. I thought that was fine.
People are always trying to get to Peter. There are always people sort of waiting in the wings to get answers, and quite often I'm the sounding board and go back and forth between those people. It's my job, I'm the go-between.
This one, we're doing a couple of little tweaks again. This is more for a temp. You've seen a couple like this before, but this is just the next one in the series.
This one, there's a long head handle on.
Sorry to interrupt, but second unit need to play down a couple of shots for you.
Okay.
We've got a full shot and we've got a close-up.
It all seems very red. I think it would actually look better if it was against black.
Well, that's good. Let's do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Sure. Thanks.
All right, no worries.
Thank you. Could you please ask Peter to come and join us now?
Thanks, Carol. I'll just get him for you.
Head handle on.
And then
Peter, they're ready for you on our stage.
Okay, there's got 3 more shots to go.
Caro, Pete's got 3 more shots to look at on the laptop and he'll be with you. It'll be pretty quick.
And we should get Andy's sound thing on.
One of the jobs that a director has to do is to answer questions all the time, and you have different departments coming at you constantly wanting meetings and information about this, that and the other. I found exactly the same thing on Lord of the Rings. At the end of Lord of the Rings, I was so tired I could only concentrate on one thing at a time. And, you know, it's getting a little bit like that on this film. Not so bad, but it certainly gets pretty exhausting.
Way out. One last look at Colin, and then go. Yeah.
Checking and wrapping, thank you.
Pass lights up, please.
Good, well, there we go, the end of day 100.
Yes, here we go.
It feels like 100 days too. Doesn't feel like 99 days, doesn't feel like 98 days, it feels like 100 days.
And it's a second unit's 50th day tomorrow, so I put a note on their
50th day, oh, well
note on their call sheet.
they're only half the men that we are, Caro. Well, thank you everybody, I hope you've enjoyed this look at what a day 100 like it is for me. I'm going to go get some sleep and take my microphone off and say goodbye to you all. And see you at the next video diary. Here's all your gear. Thank you.
Well, big day for us. It's day 200 on the miniature shooting schedule, which is a day about 100 and a bit on the live action. We're a little ahead of them because we've had to shoot a lot of material before the live action started. So we're getting ready to shoot what is the actual first production film rolled on King Kong. Peter pointed this out yesterday, actually, that we were highly honored that we actually get to do this. Peter's a real hands-on filmmaker, always has been. I think he just loves the fact that there's a process involved in filmmaking, and part of that process is shooting miniatures that somehow enhance and extend a live action set. So you have a small built set that's full size where they actually interact with the bushes and the trees and the vines, and then we're doing everything outside this. In effect, we're creating the entire environment within which these actors perform. So it'll be a combination of matte paintings and miniatures to bring it to life.
The main miniatures are made by Weta Workshop. So we then have to transport them over here from Weta Workshop. Obviously, they're huge, as you've seen. And a phrase that got coined on Lord of the Rings was bigatures. That doesn't seem to have changed. There's still bigatures. And no, they're not little. They have to be huge because they're meant to be enormous.
Parke over the yellow lines towards the wall.
We've got a few sets running at the moment. Normally we have 2 or 3, but presently we have 5.
It's actually more than 5 because this stage is doing 2 shots. So we've got 6 setups.
I'm doing the boat next door in here, a rock wall here, sea wall here.
I figure we either need to get roller skates or scooters or skateboards because we're really just racing back and forth.
Motion Control Stage K, we're shooting a gorge shot here that has to be out by pretty much today. We shot it yesterday, but it's a reshoot, so we're picking up shots 37 and 40.
We were in this set for a long time, a couple of 100 shots. And of course, it's built in 10th scale, so it's 1/10 of full size. But at that scale, it means the camera's very, very close to everything. So we have to do a lot of precision detailing on plants, on the moving trees in the wind, on the way the rocks look, the way things have fallen down, and so forth.
The Greens Department have done an amazing job of making these like little miniature ferns.
We've had these things for a year and 2 months. We started in December last year, and they would have been twice that size now if we didn't cram the poor little bastards into a small pot.
They can be on set for anywhere between 1 day and 2 months. And my job is to try and keep them alive in these extreme conditions, intense light, intense heat, and intense wind.
The trick is that because we have wind in these shots, the trees are blowing around in the wind. We got it, but they're miniature trees. We have to run the camera fast so that we can slow them down enough so that they don't just go bzz, 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 bzz like that.
And to help with that, I'm putting little lead weights on them, which are little fishing sinkers, which we're clamping onto the leaves to give them a bit more weight so they actually move and look believable when we shoot them at 64 frames a second. Whatever's not behaving properly gets the lead shot treatment. So we'll put more wind on it, but now it's got more weight to it.
Because you have to use this for so many shots, it pays to get a very high level of detail, so no matter where you look, you've got the coverage. Live action units will be wrapping here in a month and a half, and we're going to be shooting until October of this year, way down at the very end, because we have this enormous number of shots. We got around, let's say, around 1,400 shots to do still before we finish. I figure that in King Kong, we probably got twice as many shots as we had in all 3 Lord of the Rings films put together.
I think one of the really special things about Peter Jackson as a director is his use of miniatures, and you know, we're all very thankful that he uses so many miniatures.
And I think he's absolutely right when he says also that there's something about a photographed image, be it a live action plate or a location plate or a miniature plate, that somehow plucks a responsive chord in our hearts, and we say, yeah, I believe that.
Sea marker.
It's a scary day when you come to set and you have grown men attacking you in bright green and blue suits.
Hello, here we are. It's day 105. I've had some decent sleep since my day 100 diary, where I was so exhausted I could barely stand up, but I'm feeling much better now, and it's good because we're doing some pretty complicated stuff at the moment. It's an area of the film that in a way demands the most imagination because we have no sets. It's a sequence in which Naomi is being carried by Kong in New York.
And of course the way we'll do that, opposed to the old claymation version, is to shoot it all in front of a green screen here. A lot of the rest will be built in a computer at a later date.
We have something that looks like a green tyre, I guess you could call it, and we have a rocking base. And although looking at the shots and looking at the way we're going to shoot it, it seems a pretty crude method, it's actually going to be fine. It's going to give us everything that we need.
The Kong rig is a pretty amazing and important part of the film. It's the iconic image that we're about to see of Anne and Kong's connection. This is where the action really starts. This is where the fun starts.
Keep it kind of, don't be too shy. And we have Andy Serkis on set to play Kong and to work with Naomi.
Naomi's stuck with looking at someone dressed like...
I'll tell you, a ballet dancer on steroids.
But it seems to do the trick, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. But thank God for this. That's what I focus on.
Yeah.
I feel like completely transported when I look at his face. I'm not looking at him wearing a funny suit. I'm looking at him with all this behavior and all this feeling, and I can't imagine who else could make me feel what he's making me feel. It's really something.
just because we can't touch each other doesn't mean that we can't really, get inside each other's heads, which is why I'm here.
And I saw you laughing at him, which was fun. Playing with the lights was really good. I mean, that was great. That was really great.
So everybody knows when we hit Central Park, which is a lighting cue and a cue for Naomi as well.
There's slow, passive scenes with her and Kong having quiet moments together, and then there's obviously much more action-orientated scenes as Kong is being pursued by New York, by the military. And sometimes he's running, sometimes he's protecting you, like he's running and protecting you here. Sometimes he's stopping and looking over here.
She's much better at performing than me.
You don't really need to get it right. It was good. That was nice definition. We just try one more for luck, eh?
Okay.
Flips from the explosion. Screaming, yelling at the stop. No! Searchlight, sweep past. No searchlight, sweeping past.
If you'd said at the beginning of the day, OK, so what you're going to do, Naomi's going to be in this green hand, you're going to be on top of a scissor lift, and you're pretending to be galloping through the streets of New York being chased by the military, you'd think, OK, all right. But I can't wait to see all the other elements put in. And I mean, for me, having lived through that scene now, I'll be able to take it to the next level in motion capture. And given that I won't have Naomi there probably, but it'll be Barbie, that'll be great.
Thank you very much. It was good. All right.
That's kind of fun.
A whole day riding the hand.
Yeah, many variations.
Yeah, that's right.
Covered the spectrum.
How many people out there would have liked a day in Kong's hand?
And we'll be going to the fairground.
It is.
That's got to be one of my most challenging days on a film set, I have to say.
Hi there, it's day 108 today, and we're doing a few more scenes on the deck of the Venture, which you can see behind me here in Studio B. But what we are actually going to do today is a production diary that's based on a lot of requests that we've had from fans. So for Lindsay, Roy, Jeremy, David, Anthony, Andrew, Kathy, Chris, Roxy, Josh, Hilary and Brewer, we're going to do a day in the life of the makeup department.
Today I have the Manitou. And the Manitou is it's a pimple that's so big that it's not just a pimple. There could be a living organism inside growing in a fetus inside my face.
So we might need to operate.
And then after 9 months it pops and the devil comes out. It's the devil's child, the Manitou.
Hair and makeup are there for the director. They're there to realize his vision. And we're there to help the actors and actresses portray the parts they're playing.
One of the good things about being in hair and makeup is the fact that you get a big trailer like this.
The makeup trailer can be a fun place.
Oh yeah, everything happens in the makeup bus.
Hello.
All roads lead back to the makeup bus.
We are the first people that get the actors in the morning. And you know, not everybody gets a great night's sleep.
I didn't shave because today I have to have 2 days growth. So I'm not unprofessional, if that's what you were thinking. Dude doesn't even shave.
A lot of my job is research, to search for information about a period, and there's no point putting lipstick and eyelashes on if you don't know why you're doing it.
I've had the same crappy haircut since August.
And he means that in the best possible way.
that you gave me a bad haircut. She gave me a great haircut.
It's 1933.
Exactly, it's 1933. I think I had the same haircut when I was like 7.
As far as King Kong goes, we want to sell everything as if it actually happened. The thing we're aiming for all the time is realism. We also keep extensive continuity records, which means that we'll take photographs and take notes so that when we do have to reproduce it, we can do it quite efficiently and very precisely.
It's been a while. And we need to shape him.
I know.
Andy Serkis shot scenes today that we initially shot before Christmas. So there was a little bit of continuity bringing him back to Lumpy, and we had to re-tattoo him, and lots of dirt and grime and all those kind of things.
So you'd have your food cooked by this man, wouldn't you?
Sometimes people the wounds are healing because it's a couple of weeks after, then reducing the wound or so forth, or the wound then disappears, all that sort of stuff. It's great putting people through torture and pain and making them look silly and so on and so forth. Yeah, it's great.
I use hair and makeup as tools. You know, you arrive at work and in your normal fashion, and you get into character,
and you use makeup and hair to help you get closer to that.
Jack did a very smart thing and went wig so that he could have his normal Jack hair. It wasn't really a move on my part to get a wig, but it worked out to my advantage because you throw on the wig and it gives me a 1930s hairdo, and then you take it off and look what's under it. Rock and roll.
Yeah, the wigs, I mean, my company makes the wigs because we weren't satisfied with the wigs that were around. And trying always to achieve them so that people don't know that they're actually wearing wigs.
Half the day, at least half the day, maybe more, is keeping the artist looking exactly the same. Let's say we started at 5 a.m. and we might shoot that one scene for 14 hours. So we have to keep everybody looking exactly the same for 14 hours.
What's happened by the time she's sitting in this chair until the time she's on the set, a lot of things can change. And so I always have to go up and check and make sure everything is just perfect.
Final checks. Okay, jumping out of there, please, gang. I need to get Naomi in there. We're going to shoot.
It's all about people's personalities as much as the makeup skills and everything, that everyone gets on well and works well together.
See what they do to me. It's such a glamorous business, isn't it?
You have to have very good chemistry with the people that are doing your hair and makeup because they're the last people to touch you before you roll. And I don't think it would be possible to do it without feeling those good vibes.
Okay, here we come.
Naomi's on set, we need you.
Gotta go.
Stop
Bye.
your talking, come on.
Hello, it's day 110 here on the shoot, and what our production diary is going to be about is the recent summit, which was a visit that was arranged by Universal Studios, who brought a whole lot of people down to New Zealand to have a look at some footage. The summit is different to the press junket, which we showed you earlier. There were cinema owners, exhibitors, people that own distribution chains. There were people associated with the merchandising deals. And it was basically Universal's attempt to give them a very early sneak peek at what we were doing. And from our point of view, an early sneak peek is fine, but obviously it led to a huge amount of hard work because in order to get a piece of film ready to show while we're still actually making it is obviously a big ask, and it wasn't like a trailer, 2 or 3 minutes. It was 18 minutes of footage that we wanted to screen for these people. So we went into overdrive to try to, at the very last minute, pull this reel together.
I think although people were as positive as they could be about the idea of the summit, the implications on their schedule were pretty difficult.
So the guys have been going great guns on building this fairly sizable chunk of miniature, and we have a very short deadline to get it delivered. It's almost an urban myth that things turn up at the back of an envelope or a napkin, but we actually got handed this design this morning.
It's definitely impacted us in animation. Put it this way, I don't think they were quite prepared to get stuff on film this early. We've got quite a few effect shots to do, which is somewhat daunting, and we try not to think about it too much, but we'll just keep slamming through it and get there.
What I'd do is I'd grade up scenes that we knew that were going to be in the summit reel. We didn't necessarily know every single shot, so I just had to grade all the shots in all of these scenes and send them over to editorial, and editorial had to put it in the cut.
It really put the pressure on the whole editorial department. And so it was one of those things that was right to the wire before we could actually get it ready to screen.
This will be the first time that an audience will see our work. So it's exciting for us, and we're really hoping that they enjoy it.
I think everyone was really excited to be in New Zealand. Some of them were a little bit tired, but the first day they spent, they were so excited about what they'd toured around and what they'd seen. First up, we went for a visit out to Seaview, where the New York set is, and had their photos taken.
Look at that, look at that.
New York in 1933, in living color this time, not in black and white.
They also got to have their photo taken outside the real venture.
Action! Action! It's very important that we get them very excited about what we're trying to do. So to that end, we've been taking tours of 35 people at a time, and we're walking them through the workshop and showing them everything that we've been doing. They've also been visiting the miniatures stage, the shooting stages, and other bits and pieces that's going on around Miramar. Well, I see you all in the cinema for more waffling in a minute.
And last but not least, they watched the Weta Digital presentation given by Joe Lettieri.
This is from the first week's shooting. This is the scene of Anne arriving at the docks. This is now putting all those bits together.
Later on in the evening, they returned back to the Camperdown Theatre for a surprise.
I just want to thank you again very much for coming down. I thought we'd show you a little bit of the film, but in a very crude animatic form. It's very unusual to be screening footage to anybody at this early stage, and I must admit I was a little nervous, and finally thought, oh my God, I'm actually going to be showing some people some of this film.
Quite exhilarating for us because Peter got a standing ovation, and so it seemed like it was all worthwhile, so it was really great.
Thank you all so much for coming down.
Thank you. What was amazing about the summit room was the reaction we got from everyone. It was just one of those things that gave the tone and the feel of the movie, and no one really had any idea what they were going to see.
It's great to finally, after a few months of seeing maquettes of Kong, actually seeing him move.
That was a really wonderful snapshot to get a sense of what the whole tone of the movie is going to be. Keep up the good work.
The great thing about getting a good reception is that it gives you a bit of a morale boost, and it's made us sort of feel a bit more excited about the film that we're working on. So looking forward now to just, getting the shoot finished and push the film through to its completely finished state, so that this 18 minutes now becomes a fully fledged feature film.
Hi, welcome to the Second Unit Production Diary. I'm Randy Cook, Second Unit Director, and we're going to show you today a few of the things that Second Unit's been up to for the last couple of months while Peter's been directing Main Unit.
Go ahead, pitch! A lot of the stuff we do tends to fill out sequences that have already been shot by Main Unit.
They basically film a scene and then we come along afterwards and pick up all the little bits that are left over.
So, as a result, I'm doing things that Pete has neither time nor inclination to do. Some of the shots out on the venture.
The only stuff we filmed on the boat so far has been in the parking lot. They say it's because it's a better controlled environment, you can get better shots, but we all know Peter's, I think he vomits, apparently. As soon as he steps on a boat, vomit happens.
And we got to shoot scenic shots of Anne and Jack being swept down a river.
What we're going to do is have a bit of a Tarzan swing into the river. 3, 2, 1, swing into frame and let go at the right time. And hopefully we'll have a nice spectacular splash.
They're getting slapped around a little bit, so they're really suffering for their art today, that's for sure.
We've shot everything from typical inserts stuff to car chases, which is the usual domain of the Second Unit, to actual close-ups on the principal actors.
It's always a breath of fresh air actually going over to another unit.
Ready? And 3, 2, 1, head! 3, 2, 1, pack!
The treadmill was just, something that everybody got subjected to at one point or another.
It was always a bit of a competition between everybody who could run the fastest on the treadmill. I was the fastest runner on the treadmill, but I almost needed hospitalization afterwards. Okay.
Peter and I have similar tastes in some areas. However, we only get to work together real briefly in the morning. He gives us a real quick brief about what he wants, and then we go out and do it and show him what we're up to.
We use video cables, we use internet. Wherever Peter is, he's going to be getting a picture from Second Unit.
This is our Second Unit monitor down here, which is showing us what Second Unit are doing. They're doing their vaudeville routines. That's good. That's good.
It's a very interesting job being another director's hands, because you have to have the ability to do it, yet you have to go with that director's flow.
Yeah, we're on the Hooverville set today. Hooverville being sort of, I guess, the slums. It's the Depression times. All the people are out of work, they're bored. They're just sitting around. We're just shooting a montage of shots. Basically, what we're filming here, the extras out there don't even know when the cameras are rolling.
I was a Hoovervillian today, and I sat around and acted bored, which I was.
Half the time, when you turn the camera off, they start looking natural. And as soon as you tell them they're turning it on, they look really unnatural. So we spent the whole morning rolling without anyone really knowing.
We were bouncing around all over the film on that day because we went from the shanty town to Skull Island with natives' feet running around in the rain to the skyscrapers of New York under construction. All of it, of course, was on the back lot, crammed quite close together.
From the depths to the heights today, in more ways than one.
One of the exciting things about working on Second Unit for Peter is that you do get to do things that other Second Unit directors don't necessarily get to do. We're not, just expressly doing car chases and people falling in the river. We're getting to work with the main actors and sometimes getting to finish off scenes that he's started. You know, again, he gives you a lot of leeway at times, and one appreciates that trust.
I think you should be as extreme as you're going to be. No, it's vaudeville. Go for it.
Is that the right answer?
Go for it. Hello, welcome to day 115. Today we're going to show you a little bit of the sound department. Several of you have written in wanting to know more about the technicalities of recording sound on set. Jeremy, Matthew, Jody, Don, Stefan, Akash, Ryan, Nick, Nathan, Keith and Mike. It's ironic that this particular production diary is on this day. Today happens to be the day that we're recording a scene involving our Denham sound recordist. Because, of course, in 1933, they were having to record sound themselves, and they have much the same problems as we still do today.
We're off on a magical journey. A journey into sound.
My title is Production Sound Mixer, and my job is to record sound at the time the film's shot. So, like the scene that we're doing today, we've got a whole heap of characters who are all going to be doing lines, which means I've got to put out a number of microphones, and I'll mix all that chat together to record the actors' dialogue. We're doing a master, and there's a lot of characters talking, so we need to put out a lot of mics. There'll be boom mics, there'll be plant mics or radio mics on people.
You think this is about sound, it's actually not. You're doing me for drugs.
That's right.
If you find any, you owe me money.
It's pretty amazing how these guys are able to hide microphones in ties and in jackets. The only downside to the radio mic is you need a little battery pack. Sometimes it's wrapped around your ankle like a prisoner on house arrest.
This is worse than house arrest because now there's someone in your house listening to your every move.
You'll never notice.
Day in the life of a sound man. It's tough. It's tough what they have to endure.
We're going to be shooting very soon, thank you, gang.
Getting almost nervous now. It's the first shot of the day, and it's pretty tight in here.
Here we go, shooting, please.
And here we go.
And roll sound.
Sounds rolling.
Speed.
And action.
I'm going to have the ship's engines over all the dialogue. Seagulls, camera noise, wind, God knows what else.
I don't care, Mike. You're the sound operator. Make it work.
That was a bit of a roughie to start with, but we'll sharpen it up as we go.
Here we go, thank you. And roll sound.
Rolling.
Speed. I try and get everything I can on the boom. You know, you try and get a boom in there as much as possible because it's generally a better sounding microphone. So we're 2 takes into it now. We've found some problems.
We've got a construction site next door. The supermarket's building a new car park or something. So it's very apt that we've got a scene about a sound recordist who's complaining about all this noise in the background, and we've actually got loads of noise in the background here.
Here we go, thank you. And roll sound.
Speed.
Why are you always saying speed?
Well, actually, Julia, that's a good question. Why am I always saying speed on set?
Speed? Well, that's a good question. It starts back a long time back. Me and my friends were back in the pub in about 1962. And then my friend...
Also, part of the sound department's job is to silence people on set who really just don't make any sense.
And action.
Mike, you are the shamalama ding dong. Get it right. Fix it. Make it work.
I mean, I'd love to be able to tell you who actually kind of fluffed their lines, strictly between you and me. It could have been Jack.
Come on in. Let me introduce you to the peeps, my crew. This is that. I don't care, Mike. You're the sound recordist. Make it work. That's awesome. Awesome, guys.
Another day on set. Well, yeah, it's a good scene. It's a good scene today. I think it'll shape up really well.
It was a long, hard, rugged day. Sometimes you gotta get smelly, you gotta get hot, you gotta push it to the limits in the field of sound. And today I think we took it to the limit.
This is about day 118 of the shoot, although it's really a second unit day. Randy's in here, I'm just coming in because it's too much fun to miss.
And of course, I just get to sit back and take a snooze while Pete runs the set.
Well, I wasn't intending to do that.
You
but
weren't,
it's sort of
no, you
too
weren't
exciting.
intending to. This
is more like this is too much like
you know.
Too much like good fun.
Yeah.
We're into the first of 4 days worth of shooting the Helldivers, which are the biplanes that attacked Kong on the Empire State Building. Curtiss Helldivers, they're the American naval plane of the early 1930s, and they are the same aircraft as what they used on the original film. After a bit of research, we found out that no original Helldivers existed. We were expecting to be able to copy one that was in a museum in the States or somewhere, but we found out that no museums have one that's actually an extinct aircraft, that they're all gone. And you can't even buy a plastic model kit of this plane, so we had to go to the Smithsonian and gather together the original factory drawings for the plane so we could actually recreate one.
So we started with original drawings and decided to build the airplane just like they did in the factory in 1933. All the sizes and shapes and everything on this airplane is true to the original form. The plane is built out of steel tube and given its shape with aluminum stringers and covered with fabric just like the real airplane would have been. It's just putting the fabric on the bare structure is the easy bit. Then we need to put reinforcing tapes over the ribs and rib stitch it with a needle right through. And then there's all kinds of paint that goes on top of it. There's about 3 coats of clear dope, then there's 3 more coats of silver, and then the top coat, whatever color it is. It does have a few original parts that would have been the same parts used on a real Helldiver. The wheels and an instrument or two to make it authentic.
Where's my friggin' pilot? Our pilot is Jim Dietz, who's a very renowned military artist. I've actually got some of his World War I flying paintings on my walls, on the wall of my office. And the gunner is Rick Porus, who was our co-producer on all 3 Lord of the Rings movies. Rick's just come down to New Zealand for a vacation. He's not working on Kong, but he's jumped in the gunner's seat. So I'm sitting here thinking these guys are actually really having all the fun, aren't they?
I just want to go into a real one now after we've been sitting in this, but I heard that there really aren't any Helldivers around anymore, so that's a bit unfortunate. But it's just really, it's got a good feeling with the wind. You almost feel like you're up there for real.
It will be memorable. As I say, into the sunset.
You know, the trick with this sort of stuff is to make sure the planes don't look too much like they're stuck in a studio. Obviously, the blue screen gets replaced with the skies and Manhattan, but we're doing a lot of things like moving the sun. We have the sun on the end of the big crane, and we swing that around so that you really get this great moving shadow effect. And we're putting a lot of vibration into the plane, a lot of vibration into the camera, so all the wires, you know, the flying wires that are holding the plane together kind of vibrating, and, you know, we're trying to sort of add that level of realism to what's essentially faking the flying. You know, everything's fake, isn't it, really, these days?
Everything's fake except those hot shells that are flying all over the place.
The guns aren't fake. The guns are real guns.
Projects like this are really cool in a way. I mean, none of these airplanes exist anywhere, and we've just created one from scratch. And now there's a Curtiss Helldiver. If it ends up in a museum somewhere, people from all over can actually come and see one, touch one, and have an idea what one of these airplanes actually looks like.
Yeah. Never really grow up, do you? Boys never grow up. Planes and guns. Big model planes. It's cool.
Hi, this is day 120 of our production diary, and we're getting towards the end of the film. We're here in the wet, dank K-stage jungles of Skull Island, doing a little bit more with Naomi and some dinosaurs today. Second unit of filming Adrien, doing a little bit of cab driving. It's interesting, movies don't really end with a climactic kind of moment. They tend to dwindle, and it becomes a process of long goodbyes. Guess what, that was Jack's last shot, everybody! Over the last couple of weeks, we've said goodbye to Jack Black. He finished everything that Denham had to do, and so he was able to leave.
I get squeezes. That's part of the fun.
Colin Hanks, playing Preston, left. We're now down to, I think it's 3 more days of shooting with Adrien.
I'm hanging out on a rope with Naomi on my back and, a couple little scenes to pick up, a few stunts, and I'm home free for a bit. But I'm aware that, reshoots maybe a few weeks, maybe another movie.
And reset. That was good. That was a good one, Adrien. That's cool. Adrien has a couple more days. There's a scene in a theatre, which is the last set, I think, that's being built.
So this is the Artie Theatre. This is what you call a set within a set. So we've built a set, which is the theatre, and then we've built a backdrop, which is the set, and that's sort of happening as we speak. So here we are in the Empire State Building in Q stage. This is a set we've just put together over the last few weeks, and it's going to be shooting in 2 days' time.
Today's also a sad day for us because the New York set out in the Hutt Valley is being demolished. We wanted to have our wrap party in the New York set, except we had this demolition date and we couldn't keep the set till the very end of the shoot because it had to be gone and we had to clear it away. But nonetheless, it was a good day, an amazing party on the New York streets.
So I'd just like you to all give a huge welcome to Neil Finn.
Good afternoon all. Fantastic to be here.
And now today the set gets demolished.
Well, it's nice and quiet in here. It's really busy out at New York streets. The guys are starting to strike it. Now, normally we'd just smash it all up and put it in the rubbish, but we are saving a lot of New York streets.
What we do when we destroy sets is we keep little bits of them, just in case we want to do more filming with them later.
There is, possibility we may use it for some pickups or maybe even another film. So.
And action!
Naomi we hang on to till almost the very end. We deliberately planned our schedule so that we would just be able to reduce things down to shots of Naomi at the very end. And so we're slowly reducing the size of our crew. Obviously, as we get down to shooting with 2 actors and then 1 actor, you don't need as many people in the wardrobe department, makeup departments, the 80s department. It's sort of the film just becomes smaller. You end up almost like you're making a home movie by the time you're done. And it doesn't really ever get any easier. I mean, the scenes that we're shooting with Naomi at the very end, the very complicated effect scenes, lots of interaction between her and Kong and dinosaurs with blue screens and having to comp in creatures. So it sort of keeps your brain going right to the very end. So that's what our next 2 weeks holds. The lights at the end of the tunnel. It's a good feeling. Everyone's enjoying just getting the film shot now, and that's what we're facing in this last couple of weeks.
Cut. Good.
Cut, thank you.
I think that was fine.
Hello, welcome to Production Diary for day 123. For the last 2 or 3 months, something's been going on behind the scenes that's sort of exciting, and today is the day that Universal have allowed us to talk about it for the first time. So very soon after our Christmas break, Universal started to talk to Fran, Philippa and myself about the idea of a possible sequel to King Kong. And based on that, we've now solidified our plans for what would be effectively the Son of Kong.
Yeah, this is just tremendously exciting for us, at Universal. We had some production money stashed away for the second Chronicle of Riddick, but we're not producing that particular picture. So happily, we had a significant budget, and we're going to make Son of Kong with it immediately.
Because the screenplay is reasonably long and pretty rich, Universal have agreed that we're basically going to split it into 2 movies and shoot them back to back.
One of the things Universal is best at, renowned for, is the franchise business. So it's just a phenomenal opportunity for us.
It was a little tricky getting the main cast back because, as you can imagine, with Adrien, Naomi and Jack, they had already been making plans.
It's a relief for me that it's finally out of the bag because it was top secret for so long I couldn't even tell my family or anything about what was going on.
If anyone has been paying attention, we've sort of been dropping little clues. I'm really excited because, I've never been in a sort of a sequel before. I've never been in like a franchise thing.
It's quite a great experience for me and my character because she discovers when she hears that back in the jungle there, Son of Kong is still alive. She, a la kind of Sigourney Weaver, Gorillas in the Mist, runs back to the jungle because she wants to be there and nurture him because she owes that to King Kong himself.
It takes place like 10 years after the first one, so it's right in the middle of World War II.
Denham returns to Skull Island, except Denham now is involved with the US government's war effort. And so it's a great opportunity to return to Skull Island, but then the story actually ultimately climaxes in Europe.
It's weird. We go to Germany with Son of Kong and he helps us defeat Hitler.
Rather than just have Son of Kong fighting, more dinosaurs on Skull Island, he is going to be able to combat some genetically mutated creatures that the Nazis are building. And so, as you can imagine, Weta are now, gearing up to basically do the conceptual art.
So in total parallel with all the work that we've been doing on Kong, the likes of Rob and the other sculptors have simultaneously been sculpting these characters, like the 17-foot-tall albino that we see standing here.
And we're very lucky to have Andy Serkis coming back too to play Son of Kong.
I just had this idea for Son of Kong, and it sounded ridiculous at the time, but, Pete's up for anything. I said, can we do some motion capture using my son Louis? Because Louis's now 9 months. He's 9 months old, and it's exactly the same as an infant gorilla. So, in fact, next week, we're going to be doing the first motion capture on a child. Well, he's not even a child, he's a baby.
The previous team started with some very simple ideas of just how Son of Kong would walk and run.
There's one scene where I'm kind of like riding on his back, me and Adrien and Naomi.
So in Son of Kong, there's quite a lot of comedy sequences and fun stuff, but there's also a couple of really good action sequences.
So one of the things we're going to have to do is on the shoulders of the gorilla, we want to mount a couple of Browning machine guns. And we're now just starting to do some of the more major sequences, particularly a very involved sequence involving Russian T-34 tanks and Kong just outside the Führer bunkers. So this is actually our very first set that we've designed for the sequels, for Kong 2 and 3. It's actually it's a Bavarian chalet where Denham is going to have his headquarters when he's behind the lines in World War II. We'll probably have to go on location to Europe later on in the year, about 3 weeks of location work, where we'll need to just gather those, the castles and the towns and the wide shots that will establish the European feel, which we don't have that sort of stuff here in New Zealand.
One of the hardest parts of doing it is actually prepping for the stuff we're going to be shooting in Europe later on. Sort of trying to get together studio space, get gear ready to go over, get our lighting continuity packages sorted out.
It would just be nice to be somewhere else that's just a little different. It'd be nice to get away from the blue screens just a bit more.
Of course, it's made these final weeks of shooting the first movie rather complicated because we basically have very little pre-production time. So my day on set these days is basically shooting scenes with Naomi for the first film, and at the same time I'm just having impromptu meetings all over the place to try to organise what needs to be organised for films 2 and 3. Simon, if we could just make sure these trees are kept secure for 2 or 3 months, and we'll look forward to getting back in the jungle here later on this year. So it's going to be a busy year for us, and you'll be able to follow it all here on The Kong is King.
That looks great. That's a fantastic collar. I think wardrobe's an important part of King Kong because it, we are telling a period story, so the sets and the costumes are what take you into that world.
My research of this started with the original film. So we wanted to keep it true to that 30s style of filmmaking, and it sort of embraced so many areas that the original hasn't, like, vaudeville, burlesque, and it tries to show the very dark side of New York that you see.
Basically, the process starts by Terry gives us a design and we do a pattern. We make up a toile, which is a mock-up in a plain fabric, and we get that as close as possible and do any alterations, and then we cut it out in the real fabric and machining and hand sewing and all sorts of things, and we've finished at that end.
There's this dress that has caused a lot of drama. We had a scene a long time ago that had this dress in it called the locket scene. We all loved this dress, but the scene went. So we've rewritten a new scene for this dress, done in gold.
It's beautiful fabric. silk gauze.
And it's a good moment for her because she's got to look overdressed and fluffy. And I think we're going down the fluffy road here.
I say, what a lovely dress.
Oh, this old thing. I just threw it on.
In previous scenes like the New York streets, we hired a lot of costumes from Australia, England and LA. It was just really the vast quantities of period that we needed there that we couldn't possibly have manufactured.
Yeah, we've dressed about 3,000 people. I reckon we've easily made 1,500 costumes.
We're going for gold here, guys. We want it to look gorgeous.
And act.
It'd be really nice to use original worn-out clothes on, say, the sailors. But just the nature of the beast is that each of those sailors has to get wet, bloodied, muddied, so they can't just have one costume. They have to have multiples of that costume. So the only way we can do that is to make them new and then put them through a process that takes them to a stage where they look like these guys have lived in them for the past 5 years.
This is the breakdown area, and these are Jack Driscoll's shirts. And so basically they all have to be done the same. In this case, it's a lot of raw umber paint and then this kind of artificial mud that you've got here.
And of course it all has to be permanent dirt because they can't wear them for 6 months without having them laundered. So it all has to be permanent so they can be washed and they come out of the washing machine looking as bad as they went in. They just smell a lot better.
Peter, come on down. We'll take you down for the fitting.
Today we did fittings for the Artie Theatre. It's actually where Jack Driscoll's written a play, and we're going for a slightly quirkier 30s look. The men are just really in pinstripe suits and sort of outrageous ties, but the ladies have been really interesting today because we've done some pretty interesting designs on them. You know, strong, tailored silhouettes with really geometric hats. So it's quite an interesting thing for the ladies.
You look sensational.
I feel it.
Great.
Fantastic.
The costumes are very important to get the feel of the period right, and also where you are in terms of how rich people are or how poor people are. It gives you those senses. So wardrobe's an important part of every movie, but particularly in King Kong, and it looks amazing, so it's been a really enjoyable one as well.
Hello, welcome to day 127, and we have a video diary today that some of you have requested. Mark and Jean-Philippe and others have wanted to know what the unit photographer does. The unit photographer is the stills photographer. We're using a gentleman called Pierre Venet, and Pierre has been on every one of my movies since Brain Dead. This is a hat that my mother made for Pierre. Brain Dead.
I've been with Peter for 13 years, and the thing I like about being a still photographer for Peter is I don't really have a budget of how much I can shoot. It's shoot everything.
Action!
It's a critically important role because the stills photographer produces the first images of the movie that anyone ever sees. They see the stills a long, long time before they see the movie normally. The stills always provide the first impression of the film.
So far, I shot about 60,000 pictures on this production. What you have to do is you have to create the mood of the photograph that the director is trying to create. They're going to be used for publication, internet, poster, marketing. That's why it's important that you capture the mood. And I know that my still with Peter Jackson represent the film. You look at one shot and you know that that is King Kong. That's what we did yesterday. Action shot. Look at that. Is that a nice picture or not?
That's wicked.
It's pretty cool, man.
All the photographs that you see in books and magazines are photographs that they take. They're not actually the same camera angles as what the real movie camera is filming because they can't be in the same space at the same time. So the unit photographer has to actually look for a shot which is as good as the film camera shot. And the film camera shot usually has the prime position. So the photographer has to sneak in and around and try to get a different angle, but something that's going to be strong and powerful.
The idea is for a photographer is you don't want to be heard and you don't want to be seen. So you move very quiet on a film set without disturbing, especially your actor. So you really have to be gentle and develop a really good relationship with the actor. I'm going to play a joke today. The joke's going to be on Naomi. So...
Yeah, hi.
So you guys are going well. Come on, get in here.
That's very believable. You got a fright?
No, I'm laughing. I would think it would be Jack Black, but I think he's in America.
And who else would it be?
Yeah.
Process of elimination.
Yeah.
Every day I come on set and Peter's going to pull a surprise out. When he told me I'm going to do this photographer scene of the film, I know I can be a photographer, but I don't know if I can play the part, you know? We do 2 takes, right? If they don't like it after 2 takes, we'll come back tomorrow.
Okay.
Do a couple more.
It's fair.
We're not doing 4 or 5 takes, man. All the film I've done with Peter, when he told me I'm going to do King Kong, that brought a big smile on my face. I'm not much of a smiler, but that brought me a smile.
Hi. I hope this is working properly. This is Andy Serkis here. We're going to do a web episode to get our revenge on the DVD crew. They don't know I'm making this, but for 8 months they've been driving us nuts, sticking the camera in our faces, following us around everywhere that we've ever been. If it's all a bit rough, then forgive me, but they don't know I'm doing this. All right, cheers, see you later. Bye. So I'm making this for CollinsKing.net, and the DVD crew don't know about it, and I'm going to cut it together, and it's a
we're turning the tables on them. We're giving them a taste of their own medicine. They're going to feel the pain. Make them feel the pain, Andy.
Well, I'd actually like to DVD them in various state of pain and embarrassment. And we probably like them really well as well, because they never get that bit right.
I think it's high time that someone actually got a bit of footage of these guys who've hassled us for the last, I don't know how many weeks, but it seems like every second day that someone's, Jeff, what are you doing here today?
It's a love-hate relationship. It's irritating, invasive, and they get in your f***ing way.
Well, it's very invasive. It sort of invades your constitutional rights as a crew member to just do what you do without having a camera in your face the whole time. I mean, basically, I fucking love it.
So my question is it voyeurism? I mean, anyone can get up with a video camera and make their own film. It's the easiest thing in the world. I mean, you could all do it. So are these people really earning their money, or are they just a complete sham? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, you guys do a great job. You do, but you're always in the face!
That does not disturb me, but it's when they're behind you, when you turn.
It's totally different when it's actually pointed at us. It's like,
With one of these, you can tell what a person's body language is from 100 feet away. You can tell whether people are having a good day at work, a bad day at work, or whatever. I mean, check this out.
It'll be interesting changing gears, because we'll be less in the world of, you know what I mean? Like,
Okay, now listen. I'm going to take you inside the vault. Look, this is KKO 395. 395. What's on this one? Naomi shopping in town. Colin clubbing it at the Matterhorn. Okay, so I've actually now secretly removed all my most embarrassing moments. I mean, moments that you just wouldn't want to see me. I mean, that would completely ruin your image of me. Ah! Looking through 1,800 tapes, I discovered different actors respond in totally different ways.
Yeah, we're cool. Yep, on the other end, Jack's a ham.
Fight! Run for your lives!
Swat. Hi, I'm doing a day in the life of the DVD crew, and you've just done a really hard day's filming, and now I'm just going to follow you with the camera, and when you're really exhausted, can you just tell me how you feel about that?
fuck off.
I mean, you know, these days you can't just sign on and get a job. You can't just, you know, get a part in a film, get offered a role and then actually go and carry it out. Oh no, you have to do this thing called B-roll and behind the scenes and DVD footage, and it's like living in Big Brother all the time, you know, and to the point where it drives you absolutely insane. People can't leave you alone. You just can't even go to the toilet, you can't even pick your nose, you can't go anywhere. People are just following you. It just drives you nuts. It drives you crazy. But no, they keep going, and they think it's really interesting, every single living, breathing thing that you do. Every single second of every day.
Everywhere. I have to slam the door on their face when I go to the toilet.
No, Andrew, actually, I haven't finished yet. I know you're on your way home.
Yes,
But
no, I'm on my way to Rush's.
Oh, you're on your way to Rush's?
Yeah. We got another hour yet.
Okay, well, can I follow you to Rush's?
Well, no. Look, it's more interesting here.
Okay, welcome to day 125 or 6 or 7 or whatever it is of our shoot. I can't quite remember what day it is, to tell you the truth, but I know one important thing, it's the last week of shooting. It's our final week, and this is when you've got to really pace yourself, make sure that you're not like one of those runners who trips just before the finishing line and ends up face down in the mud. When you collapse the day after the shoot finishes, not the day before. You know, I do have a few thoughts and ideas of how I'm going to actually get through this last week. I've got a plan. The Beatles said it best, with a little help from your friends. Hey Matt, can you get Brian Singer on the line? Brian Singer, I think he's in Sydney.
Hi, can I speak to Brian, please? I've got Peter calling for him.
Hello.
Hey, Peter.
Is that Brian?
This is he.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
How busy are you at the moment?
We've moved in the night, so I'm at the office just going through previs.
I'm just wondering if you could do a little favour, like a little swap sort of thing maybe. I'm sort of running on fumes at the moment, so it would be kind of helpful to have another pair of eyes who I can trust kind of sort of looking over my shoulder, and I could have a little rest or a little snooze or something. And I figured if you're on 16-hour days, then it leaves like 8 hours that you wouldn't be doing anything.
You mean there?
Well, yeah.
Thank you, Seamus.
Brian's not really here to direct as such. He's here on the for the eventuality that I might fall asleep, just in case. Try hard not to. Just give me a yell if you need me, Brian.
Okay, cool. All right, I'm on a kind of a flip 2-film kind of schedule thing, so we may just do these sort of in one take.
Keep it rolling on, yeah.
So, yep, keep it moving.
When Naomi gets... Where is Naomi, by the way?
I mean, I know he's got great films, but he can't just walk in on a set and say, I'm going to direct this bit.
But at least he's a really good director.
Yeah, no, that's true.
At least he has somebody.
If Peter feels safe, I guess I have to feel safe. Just kind of have to go with it. I mean, sometimes that's what this is about, filmmaking, you know, run with the ball, I say.
Oh, he's awake. I've only seen this previs. Clearly Kong is powerful. I get his height, I understand. But what does he... Can he fly?
You know, a little worrying that our director is just, you know, nodding off. But understandable, because this is a heavy schedule.
All right, everyone, we'll shoot this one. You charge each other. Call lands, yeah. She's going to step back once. And action! Kong lands. T-Rex is coming. You back up. Legs sort of between his arms. They're around you. All right? And he charges! Right, and cut. Okay.
Oh, so what time will you be able to make it tomorrow? Because I'm probably going to need a little bit of help tomorrow.
Sure. Well, I'll do the best I can. I'll try to get here by 10, like 10. So.
Okay.
You feel good. Hang in there.
Yeah, that's no trouble. So this is our last day today, and I'm not going to have Brian coming in today. He's done a great job, a real Superman, but I'm going to finish this film like a man. I'm doing it myself. I'm staying awake.
So, Peter's asleep again, gang. This is our last shot. We've got to get it done. Can you hurry and get Frank in here, please?
Copy that. Bringing Frank onto set, yep. Copy, Caro. Frank's travelling now.
Yeah, I was standing by for Frank.
Hi, Frank.
Hello.
Hey, everybody. This is Frank Darabont. I'm sorry, Peter's fallen asleep again. We've got to get this last shot, so he's going to direct this shot. Great team. This is Frank.
Oh, thank you. Hi, Frank.
Nice to meet you.
I got has everybody checked Peter's pulse? Is he narcoleptic kind of deal?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'll be over there. Let's roll with it. Why not?
All righty, so
See if
let's
I can
lock
figure
down
out
the
what the hell's
studio,
going on.
please. We're going to shoot.
And cut!
Cut.
That was really, the suit just isn't working.
You don't like the suit?
No, I just don't.
Maybe
It doesn't match the previous
we
tape.
should do one with Naomi then.
We've got to get it from a human girl's voice.
Here, Peach, we should play it back.
Print it and check the gate, please.
Yeah, no, whatever you want.
Yeah.
I'm just going to have a little sneak of that.
All right, good.
Next setup.
Okay.
Today is the last day of the shoot. This is the last shot.
So we finally got to day 131, which was our official end of principal photography.
What's the last setup for main unit? But I'm still pretending it's the last setup for Eva, even though we'll be back on Monday.
Okay, guys. I don't want to finish, really. I don't want to finish. I want to stay here. Keep shooting. Forever and ever and ever and ever. Stay in Wellington.
The last week or two have been fun, enjoyable. The light was at the end of the tunnel. And so it was very much working closely with Naomi and obviously with Andy Serkis. It was kind of bittersweet, you know. I think everyone was on one level relieved to get to the last day, but you're also painfully aware that it's the end of friendships that have been made. This period of our lives is over, and it's a very intense feeling when you're shooting a movie. You do bond closely with the crew and the cast that are working with you, and suddenly it's all over.
Cut. Good. Good.
I think we're done.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you very, very much. We're sort of done for the time being. That is also Naomi and Andy's last shot as well. So.
We had some farewells. I got a lovely signed photograph from the crew where every single member of the crew had signed it.
Oh, wow. Oh, this is so cool. This is really great. Thank you.
I somehow tricked myself into thinking that one film would be a little easier than three. But as it turned out, it has been a very difficult film to make. And, you have been an absolutely wonderful group of people to work with. I've needed all the support that you gave me. I really have needed it, and you've always been there and always stepped up to the challenge.
Put that camera away and come and have a party with us. Come on, you deserve it. Earned it.
For me, I'm relieved to get through the shoot, because you sit down and you study everything that you did shoot over the last 6 or 7 months, and you basically craft the movie out of it. These production diaries have been a lot of fun, and they are going to continue. We're going to do one diary per week during post-production, and we've got a very complicated post ahead of us.
Don't let Andy Serkis near you. He's a vicious man who will humiliate you.
I'm doing a day in the life of following the DVD crew around. And,
well, you've lost them already.
Hi, good morning.
I'm just sneaking in this bit. Nobody knows I'm here.
What's with the camera?
Oh, I'm just doing this thing for myself. I'm just collecting a few memories just for when I go home.
Yeah. What's it? Whoa! Whoa! What was that?
Knock it off!
No, I have not been invaded over the last 8 months.
Normally you can pick your nose in total freedom and luxury, but When you're being filmed all the time, bodily functions are at the top of your mind. Yeah, can I just... I'm just got an email...
You got it.
I can't think of anything more annoying than having a camera all day right in front of you. Yeah.
Is that one of our cameras?
No. This is.
Mate, we got them. We get their own game.
Stay away from her. It's all payback.
Hey. Hey, how are you? I've got a lot of dirt on you guys, a lot of dirt.
I've managed to avoid the whole DVD behind-the-scenes process for the bulk of the show, which is great.
Yeah, I feel like they're in my space. I like to have this bubble around me, and they just come and invade your privacy.
It gives the general public a very good understanding of what we do in the film industry, doesn't it? And it sells DVDs.
You want a banana? How many times you hear that on this set?
Quite a few times, Adam. You're not the first.
You know, I'll tell you something about Adam, is he'll ask you to do a production diary. He says, look, it's going to take half an hour to an hour, and it winds up taking 3 days.
Actually, I seem to remember you milked it quite a lot when you were on 15 minutes.
Oh, you better believe it. I'm still writing it. Sucker.
Do you often have a lot of time off then?
Oh, we're working hard right now.
Yeah.
This is it. This is how it gets done.
Take their camera, chuck it out there, and do a victory dance.
Our Pillarin boys, they're really cool.
We love them.
I was not too impressed when I first saw them on the first day. But now, actually, No, I don't like them.
Leave me alone. They rank beyond our camera crew. They should be deeping the whole thing. In fact, can the movie bring on behind the scenes?
I kind of feel a bit bad that I've, said the things I've said about the DVD crew. I think they're actually very, very valuable because I think it is worth recording all the things that happen on this film for your enjoyment. I'm going to finish off by saying that they're a really cool bunch of people and I want them to continue to follow me around so that I don't feel rejected. Okay, bye.
Here we go, and action!
Okay. What we might do is we'll just get you to help us with that timing with Rick. And if he's a little late, let him get there and get his hand in and then say step on it. Okay. Right. Yeah. Because I can cut my way around that if you just let him get there. Yes. So at that point you don't give much of a chance. So, okay. Yeah. Which will be good. I mean, it'll be fine because I can easily just cut right to the line. Good. It'll work. Good. Apart from that, I thought it was perfect. Good. Flawless.
Cool.
How does that look?
Let's have a look. One camera at a time. Okay, so this is Cameron's camera. So this is the one where the fist goes plonk. So that's a little bit too much of a sort of...
Yeah, it was a bit fake.
A bit of arm wavy.
Yeah.
He's gonna go crazy, and he's gonna charge you guys on his knuckles, and your guys are gonna be going like crazy with your gun, trying to wheel your gun around.
Start me, and then we're supposed to start me. You'd be very deliberate with you. Nobody's going past you. And then you turn around like it happens afterwards. Yeah, that's a good idea.
Hey, you! Stop! Wait! Stop it!
I know I'm scared of that. But I'm scared too.
I think I'm scared of Otherwise, if that happens, Rick, jump on the tailboard and just go for a ride.
Go for a ride.
Don't scrape. But the idea would be that as the cab roars away, you're just putting your hand out and you're just sort of standing here, kind of watching it go. My only note was your first landing was a little bit close to the edge when that first one where you go onto your front.
Very exciting.
Wasn't it? Peter,
Extremely exciting. High action.
Peter said that looked very exciting.
Yeah, well that's good. I thought it looked really exciting too.
3, 2, 1, action!
And cut. That was real good. That was real good, Cara. I think we've got it. We'll just do one more for luck, okay?
Okay, I'm just gonna close this project, which is, they're doing day 126, which is, I think it's about wardrobe or something. So I'm going to close it, and then I can edit the one that I'm going to send to you.